How about now? Can you hear me? Okay, guys, if y'all could let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, now y'all can hear me. Oh, I guess Double H just he's a good producer. He's like, you might want to type that in because if they can't hear you, they can't respond. So I guess I will start over. It is truly, I think it's the second Monday of the week, but I know it's Wednesday. Happy hump day, everyone. I hope your week is going well, whether you're watching live or catching up later. I'm Terry True Crime. Welcome to Midday Missing, where we shine a light on current missing person cases. I want to say for those of you, Monday, I am sorry I had to push that show. It'll be this Friday, same channel, same time. I was out of town with Double H. We were getting my mother in law's house emptied out, cleaned, and ready for the new owners. I did bring back my nice little broken finger, which has been fun because you never realize what you use your middle finger for until you don't have it. So, if you're new here, welcome to the True Crime and Wine Time community. We are more than just a podcast. True Crime and Wine Time Productions also brings you a variety of shows here on YouTube, including The Hey Ho Show, the investigation into the disappearance of Chase Lackey, Night Court, the transcripts, Women on Death Row, Midday Missing, and my new series, Dearest Mother's Darkest Secrets, will premiere on October 2nd for everyone who is subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you are a channel member, you will get all of those episodes a week early. So we stream live several times a week. We've got a lot of exciting things happening and coming out. So you're definitely going to want to also follow us on our social media channels. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, also known as X, and of course, TikTok. You can find us under True Crime and Wine Time, or you can find me under Terry True Crime on all of the social media apps. Now, you will want to subscribe on our YouTube channel. It's completely free. You can pay to be a channel member and get content early or additional content that is just for channel members, but it doesn't cost anything just to subscribe. And when I say we have a lot of cool things coming, I mean, we have a lot of cool things coming. So you're definitely, if you enjoy my craziness, JT's craziness, Rudy's, and Llama, you definitely want to subscribe. Now, I also want to show I am wearing my shirt that arrived while I was gone. So I want to say thank you to Giovanna, who is Bianca's sister. This is her missing person shirt. So now I have it to match my bracelet. So very excited about this. I'm going to wear it, rotate it with my Chase shirt, and continue getting the word out about Bianca. And hello, everybody. I see lots of familiar names in the chat. Thank you all for joining us. As those of you who follow us know, I am not as talented as JT being able to chat with you guys while also talking. I am working on that skill, but it's not a skill I have, and it's hard to type with this broken thing. So I'm not going to attempt it today. But let's jump straight in. Now, Nicole Henderson, I can't even talk. Nicole Anderson is a 56-year-old woman from Randolph Township, Minnesota, and she has been missing since the morning of July 6, 2024. And as you can imagine, her disappearance has left her family desperate and they're devastated and they want answers. And the community's on edge as the authorities continue to investigate. Now, Nicole is affectionately known as Nikki by her family and friends. She was last seen at approximately 10 a.m. on the morning of July 6th. And this is according to the doorbell camera footage from her home. She left her residence to check the mail. Now, I have this Ring camera video Unfortunately, my technology stuff this morning, I couldn't figure out how to get it to download and play for you guys. We will share it on social media and in the Discord. If you're not a member of our Discord, you'll want to go to Discord and join the courtyard. It's a huge true crime community and we hang out, we do a lot of crazy stuff. So, want to check that out, but I will drop that there as well. Now, the footage shows her walking out barefoot without her phone, wallet, car keys, medications, or anything. I mean, guys, how many of you go to the mailbox and don't take anything? I do it all the time, right? So unusual, you do it. She also left behind her beloved dog. All of this has raised alarms with her family, insisting she would never leave without her dog or a phone. Guys, nobody goes to walk to the mailbox and on the way to the mailbox says, you know what, guys, I think I'm just going to disappear. And as I've said before, alien ship doesn't come and just beam them up. So, very concerning. Okay. And it's really concerning due to her medical history. She had undergone a double mastectomy as part of her battle with breast cancer. She was still in recovery, including dealing with wounds related to the surgery. She was also undergoing chemotherapy. Guys, this is critical for her to have access to her medications. As a breast cancer survivor, I can tell you she did not have the energy to go on a 10-mile hike and decide to go walk somewhere. Something has happened to her. Um, Guys, she was recovering. That makes this all even more important that we get the word out and we help the family and police find her. Now, the family reported her missing on Monday, July 8th, after she failed to return home. That afternoon, the Daconey County Sheriff's Office launched an extensive search of her property and the surrounding areas. The search was thorough. It involved ground teams, once again with canines, drones, and helicopters. They found no signs of Nikki. Guys, that just that breaks my heart. Now, as the search for Nikki continues, attention has turned to her boyfriend, 42-year-old Matthew Suttles. On Wednesday, July 10th, authorities executed a search warrant at Suttles' home in Randolph. Suttles had an outstanding felony body only arrest warrant for a probation violation in Le County, totally unrelated to her disappearance. During the search, he was not initially present, but later he did surrender to authorities on the scene. They searched that property. They found no evidence linked to Nikki's disappearance. And he was questioned about Nikki's disappearance, her whereabouts. He was asked a lot of questions, but he was not held on any charges related to her disappearance. Although he was initially considered a person of interest, the sheriff's office has later said he was no longer under suspicion. Guys, I want to tell you that's a big deal because a lot of law enforcement offices will not publicly say someone is no longer a suspect. They just don't until they have a person in custody. So to me, that's a big deal. Now, as the investigation progressed, Nikki's brother, Troy, voiced his concerns about another potential suspect. And it's a man who posed as a woodcutter near Nikki's property. Troy believes this man was stalking his sister, and he may have been the last person to see her before she vanished. And he is convinced that this man is a person of interest. And Troy has been conducting his own search for the suspect, which good job, Troy. You've got to be an advocate. Don't sit around and wait for doctors to jump on board, law enforcement. You have to advocate for yourself and your loved ones. Now, Troy's frustration with the investigation is palpable. He has expressed disappointment in the lack of information provided by Dakota County Sheriff's Office, stating that he feels left in the dark about this case. Now, what I want to say to that is we've learned with covering these cases, a lot of times law enforcement does keep things close to the vest. They don't want information to get out that could harm the investigation. With that being said, they still need to keep the family in the loop somehow. And if you have information and you just can't share it, tell the family that information. Okay. Dakota County Sheriff's Office has assured the public that they are conducting an exhaustive investigation into her disappearance. And Sheriff Joe Lecco released a statement emphasizing that investigators are diligently working on the case. They are sifting through data, tips, and surveillance footage. However, they say due to the sensitive nature of the investigation, they aren't able to share many details, which I understand, but share what you can. Okay. The family is living through a nightmare. Please share what you can. Okay. Now, the search for Nikki remains active, with investigators continuing to explore every lead, and they have asked that everyone or anyone who has information regarding Nicole that you please contact the Dakota County Sheriff's Office at 651 438 TIPS. Because, guys, one thing that we have learned through all of our time doing this is that any little piece of information can help. Okay. It it will help tremendously. So please call and get the word out. Guys, I am trying to figure out what happened. There we go. So, next up, we are going to get into a case that is equally as heartbreaking, but in some ways, guys, I'm going to be honest, a little bit more heartbreaking. So, buckle up. This one is even crazier. On July 6, 2001, it was a sunny, warm day in Chicago. Guys, Chicago is a very windy city, very cold. They don't get a lot of what I call true summer days. So the fact that it was a beautiful summer day says a lot. Two young sisters, Tionda Bradley, age 10, and her 3-year-old sister, Diamond, vanished from their Southside apartment in the Oakland neighborhood. Their disappearance, as you can imagine, sparked panic. Not one, but two missing children. They have said the Bradley sisters case has been one of the most extensive missing person cases in Chicago's history. And here, 2 decades later, they are still missing. Now, the girl's mother, Tracy Bradley, last saw her daughters approximately around 6:30 a.m. before she left for work, where she was employed preparing lunches for children who attended a summer camp program. When Tracy returned home in the early afternoon, she found a note, apparently written by Tionda, saying that she and Diamond had gone to a nearby store and the school playground. But when Tracy searched for them, they were nowhere to be found. Hours later at 6:30 p.m., she called Chicago police to report her daughters missing. And guys, like I said, this set off a massive search. Now, I want to say before people jump on board and say, why were the kids at home alone? Yes, I know we've learned nowadays that you shouldn't do that. But guys, 2 decades ago, you could leave a 10, 11-year-old at home. Not sure about with a 3-year-old, but I know I was babysitting kids when I was 12. So i- let's let's not, okay? Now, this search for them was immediate and intense. And guys, that says something because as we've learned, a lot of law enforcement offices don't do that, right? The Chicago police, state police, and the FBI all became involved in this investigation immediately. And they said they have dedicated tons of resources to find the girls. Guys, a rotating crew of 100 detectives worked around the clock in the early days. Guys, 100 detectives is a big deal. They looked through the neighborhood, the surrounding areas. They searched sewers, lagoons, abandoned offices, factories. They said they dug through garbage dumpsters, and they questioned over 100 registered sex offenders in the vicinity. Guys, they they did a good job, okay? They jumped in. Now, the detectives also have interviewed more than 30 relatives and associates of the Bradley family. Guys, many of them multiple times in hopes of uncovering a lead that might lead to these girls. Now, Ed Carroll, who's a 26-year veteran of the Chicago Police Department, was one of the detectives assigned to the case. Guys, even years after his retirement in 2013, he remains haunted by the disappearances of Tionda and Diamond because he says the fact that it was two missing cases, it just sat in my craw. Detective Carroll, I agree with you. Two, two. I just noticed that I am not sharing the girls' pictures. Let me do that for you. See, I told y'all I am trying to be better about this. Um, I hopefully, yeah, now y'all can see that. There we go. Now y'all can see this is age progression photos so that you can see, and then their smaller picture is when they were younger. But he also said he had never worked a missing persons case before. And he said he didn't work anymore after that. He said it just bothered him that these two kids were missing. And he said it was like they vanished into thin air and they were not able to find them before he disappeared. Guys, like I've said, that's one reason I personally wanted to stay away from missing person cases because it's heartbreaking. It's hard. And even just covering them and trying to get the word out and investigating Chase's case, it takes a toll on your mental health. So I can totally understand and respect that he didn't want to do that again. Now, despite all of these efforts, the investigation has yielded few solid leads. The note left by Tionda, which should have been a crucial piece of evidence, you would think, led nowhere. Okay. The police were unable to determine where exactly the girls had gone after leaving the apartment. Think about it. 10-year-old girl writes a note. Hey, we're going to go to the park and the store. Maybe they ran into a friend and decided to go to a friend's house. I mean, it's it's hard, you've got a note, but that's it, right? Um, as the investigation dragged on, tips poured in from the public. Guys, nearly 1,000 tips were called in. None led to these sisters. Some tipsters speculated that the girls had been abducted by a man believed to be Tionda's biological father from Morocco, while others suggested more nefarious fates, including a theory that the girls were being held as sex slaves in central Illinois. Even psychics attempted to aid in the search, claiming to have had visions of the girls' location. Police looked into this, but their insights did not help find the girls. Guys, days turned into weeks, into months, years, decades. This case grew cold. The case files are huge. Guys, they fill more than 5 filing cabinets. Guys, that is huge. Okay. In case you haven't seen police files ever, that is huge. Still, they have not made any substantial progress. And another detective said almost every case I've ever worked, especially the violent crimes, you're always able to either include someone or exclude someone. And said this was the only case in his career that they could not include or exclude any suspects. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence gathered in the investigation was the discovery of hairs found in the trunk of a van that Tracy Bradley, the mother, identified as belonging to the man she claimed was Diamond's father. A month before the girl's disappearance, Tracy had filed a paternity suit against this man, but the case was later dismissed. DNA testing on the hairs revealed that they could have belonged to either Tionda Diamond or their mother, but it was not enough to move the investigation forward. Guys, that is just heartbreaking because my first question, why are there hairs in the trunk of a vehicle? Even if you have a hairbrush, you're gonna put it in a bag, a suitcase. Why? I mean, if somebody was to go and vacuum out Double H's trunk, I can guarantee you there is no hairs in there because the only time there's ever been a human in that trunk was when it snowed in Las Vegas and we couldn't get the vet up the hill that was all snowy and iced. And we had our youngest son sit in the trunk with it open to try to put weight to get it up the thing. Other than that, you're not going to find hairs in a trunk. Okay. They said this evidence was significant, but it hasn't led to anything. Now, over the years, like I said, various theories have been proposed to explain the girl's disappearance. Many believe they were abducted by someone they knew and trusted. Ed Carroll, that detective, said he is convinced that the person responsible was familiar to the sisters. He said, I think that whatever happened to them, a person that they trusted implicitly was involved. He said, I don't think it was a stranger danger thing. I think it was somebody that they knew and trusted that took them for whatever reason. Guys, stranger danger cases happen, but as we're learning, a lot of times someone your family members know are involved. And that's heartbreaking in itself, right? Sheila Bradley Smith, the girl's great aunt, who has been a vocal advocate for this case, shares a similar suspicion. Guys, I'm going to tell you, this lady, when they say she's been a vocal advocate, I could find her name all over everything about these girls. She has been amazing. If you listen to the I Think Not pod, Joey and Ellen would say that she was a down bitch. That's what they call people. And I'm going to tell you, Sheila Bradley Smith, I'm going to steal their term. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Joey. She's a down bitch. I call her a superhero because she's been a vocal advocate for them. Guys, she's their great aunt. Okay. Not like her mom, not like her, great aunt. So that is amazing. Um, she believes that two men were in the apartment after Tracy left for work. And she said whoever it was knew that those girls were alone. But guys, despite this, still no person of interest has been named. Another theory points to Tracy's boyfriend. We're just going to call him George W. as a potential suspect. And no, it's not my George W., in case those of you who are new to me. George W. Bush, I think, is the only older man besides George Strait that I thought looked really good in a pair of Wranglers. So, see, now y'all know more about me than you ever needed to know, right? But some have speculated that George might have a role in the girl's disappearance. But this theory remains unproven. And I could not find any public information about his questioning. Did he tell lies? I couldn't find anything. So that makes me wonder if they police know something. Once again, are they keeping it close to the chest? I don't know. I also just realized I did it again. Somebody mentioned this on social media. Yes, I have a tendency to talk with my hands. It's just something I do. I try not to, but it happens. But the loss of Tionda and Diamond has left the Bradley family heartbroken and miserable. They want to know where these girls are, okay? They want them brought home. So they on the anniversary of the disappearance, the family holds a vigil to honor these girls and to renew interest in this case. For the family, time has not dulled this pain. Instead, they remain trapped in the emotional turmoil of 2001. Guys, part of your life is frozen. Yes, you can move forward. Yes, you can try to embrace what life is left and take it one day at a time. But there is still a part of you that is frozen in that time. Your 10-year-old and 3-year-old are gone. You don't know where they are. Are they safe? Is somebody feeding them? Are they warm? Is somebody loving them? Or is somebody abusing them, making them suffer horrific things every day? Or did they suffer a tragic death? So it's an unbearable thought. Um, and they say whenever there is a possible lead, like bones are found, tips that come in, they go through emotions of excitement, thinking, yes, this is it. We're going to know something. But then they have to go through the emotion again of, okay, we didn't find them. What if they're deceased? They want a small part, they want closure. And closure sounds like a lot. Closure can be having them home and burying them, or bringing them home and helping them get through the tragedy that they have suffered. Now, Tionda and Diamond's sisters, Rita and Victoria Bradley, have also been deeply affected by the tragedy. Rita was particularly close to Tionda, even gave her younger daughter the middle name Tionda as a tribute to her missing sister. She says, I cry, it's hurtful. She says, reflecting on this loss, and that not a day goes by when she doesn't think about her sisters. Now, guys, the girls disappeared just a day before Victoria's 9th birthday. Casting, guys, that is a permanent shadow on your birthday, which should have been a happy occasion. Now, every year, right before Victoria's birthday, she's got to be remembered that her sisters went missing. She says she remembers being 9 and unable to celebrate her birthday due to the overwhelming sadness that gripped the family. Victoria says, growing up, though, she found solace playing basketball. Eventually went on to star in the girls' varsity basketball team. But she says the pain of losing her sisters hasn't subsided. It is still there every day. Rita and Victoria say they often reminisce about the brief time that they had with their sisters. And they said they recall Diamond as a lively child who loved to jump from couch to couch and had dark, expressive eyes that could startle those around her. Guys, when I read that, I just could picture jump, 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 jump. My granddaughter used to love to do that until I got on to her about it. Tionda, on the other side, she was more mature for her age, and she had a passion for dancing. They also said she had a strong sense of right and wrong, and that she was just the outspoken one of all of them. She knew right from wrong. Rita said, if I did something, she'd be like, no, we weren't supposed to do that. I'm going to tell mom. So she was very smart, which makes you stop and think it had to most likely be somebody they knew, because if she knew right from wrong, she probably knew to take off running, scream if somebody came after them. Um, the sisters often wonder what life would be like if they were still around. They think of what family outings, celebrations, and they said The joy of watching their own children grow up with their aunts is something that they've missed. And they think of how many kids they might have had, how many cousins that their kids could have had. And they're like, would they have been driving together, hanging out together? And they say the girl's disappearance also affected the future of the Bradley family. Tracy Bradley had two more children after Tionda and Diamond went missing. Rita and Victoria have had to explain to their younger siblings that they have two other sisters that they've not met that are out there somewhere. I want you to stop and let that sink in for a minute. Can you imagine having pictures around your house and you have a child who says, "Who's that?" And you have to say, "That's your sister." And they say, "Well, where's Sissy at?" And you have to explain to them, "We don't know." I want you to think about that. Not knowing where one child is, but two. The fact that Tracy was able to get up every day and still take care of Rita and Victoria and to go on and have two more children and live life, she is a hero. Guys, I believe I am a strong person. I believe I can be positive most of the time. If my two sons went missing, I don't know if I would have ever gotten out of bed again. Now, if I had other children, I would like to think I would have for them. I also think if one of my boys went missing, I don't know how I would have went on. So the fact that she went on, I just want to say, Tracy, I I think you're a hero. You have kept living. You have not let this person who has taken your girls destroy you. You have kept on being a mother to your two girls and then to your two younger children and still hold out hope for your girls, Tionda and Diamond. So, on your bad days, I want you to think about that because I am telling you, I don't know if I would be that strong. I don't know if Double H could have ever put me back together. Now, this case is still open. They say current detectives with Chicago PD are actively looking into this case. Okay. They say the trail has gone cold, but the commitment to finding these girls has not changed. They want to find them. Okay. Now, a private investigator, P. Foster, who has been involved in this case for about 15 years, he remains determined to pursue every lead, no matter how small. Okay. He worked closely with Ed Carroll and sometimes has conducted investigations on his own. And he says, we are not going to give up. He has talked to Ed, who's retired, and says, if it takes my children's children to find these girls or their remain, that's what it's going to be. Mr. Foster, I commend you for that because they need to be found. Despite all of the time, this story continues to resonate with many people. The case has been featured on shows such as America's Most Wanted, and a presence on social media has been maintained where some people still campaign for the search of them. Guys, their story is a reminder of resilience because this family, despite the heartbreak, has refused to give up hope. And guys, hope is something for them to hold on to. If you have any information, I don't care how small, please call the Chicago Police Department at 312 747 5789. These girls need to be found. Okay? Guys, that my heart hurts and I am exhausted. We didn't get in until 2 a.m. something. So that was hard. And instead of a happy story today, I want to share with you a man's name who probably everybody in the true crime community knows. I want to share with you how one man turned his trauma and grief into action, which has helped thousands of people. And guys, one of the people who motivates me with me covering missing person cases, John Walsh. I think everybody knows him. In 1981, John Walsh's life changed forever when his 6-year-old son, Adam Walsh, was abducted from a Sears department store in Hollywood, Florida. The horror of losing a child to a heinous crime is unimaginable for any parent, right? And for John Walsh, it was a catalyst that would transform him from a grieving father into a tireless advocate for victims' rights and crime prevention. Okay. In July 1981, Adam Walsh was taken while shopping with his mother. Despite a massive search, Adam's remains were found 2 weeks later in a canal over 100 miles away from where he was abducted. The pain of Adam's death was compounded by the failures of the investigation. The police were slow to act, evidence was mishandled, and leads were not followed up on. And these failures left the Wash family not only grieving, but frustrated and angry. And the tragedy of Adam's abduction and murder, it highlighted the issues in law enforcement's ability to handle missing children cases. The coordination, the lack of coordination, slow response time, and the absence of a national system for tracking missing children were huge. I mean, it led to glaring gaps. John Walsh was determined that he did not want another family to ever suffer as he had. I will say I think things have gotten better. There's still a lot of improvement needed, but I think it's gotten better. In the wake of Adam's death, John Walsh channeled this grief. Okay. He and his wife, I think her name is said Ravi, became relentless advocates for change. They pushed for reforms in how missing children cases were handled, which, guys, did lead to significant legislation change, including, the establishment of the Missing Children's Assistance Act of 1984 and the creation of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, also known as NCMEC. Their advocacy work laid the groundwork for a broader mission. They wanted to bring justice to victims and their families. But John also realized that more needed to be done to actually capture dangerous criminals who remained at large. This realization led to the creation of America's Most Wanted. I think the majority, people my age, I know, have heard it or seen it. In 1988, America's Most Wanted premiered on the Fox network. The show was groundbreaking in its concept. It was a crime fighting television program that sought the public's help in capturing dangerous fugitives. Each episode featured reenactments of crimes, profiles of the wanted criminals, and appeals to viewers to call in tips that could lead to arrests. Guys, wait till you hear how successful they were. John Walsh served as the show's host, which was uniquely suited for him given his personal connection to crime victims and his passionate desire for justice. His credibility and empathy resonated with viewers who responded in droves. Part of me thinks John Walsh is what kicked off the true crime community. Others may not agree with me, and that's fine. I think his passion for justice, he funneled all of that hurt into something positive. Over its 25-year run, America's Most Wanted was responsible for the capture of more than 1,200 fugitives. Guys, that's big. And the recovery of dozens and dozens of missing children. This show demonstrated the power of the media to affect real world change, harnessing and I mean, it just took this collective vigilance of the public to assist in solving crimes that might otherwise have gone cold. I want you to think about it, guys. Social media has played a huge part in helping people get justice along with the media. I know law enforcement most of the time doesn't like the media, but you do find those rare law enforcement agencies that partner really well with the media, social media, people like myself and JT who cover true crime. Now, like I said, John Walsh turned this tragedy into a mission. Okay. And he saved lives and he brought closure to these families. I would like to think that 1,200 fugitives, his TV show did it. Yes, the police were involved because they, arrest them, but the tips called in from somebody watching a show is what led to that. So I want you to think about that and share Midday Missing with everyone you know and on your social media. What if we could have a tip called in that helped one of these families find their loved one? Think about that. Okay. So when I say no tip is too small, I mean no tip. Even if you're not 100% sure and you say, hey, I think this girl that I just saw at the grocery store looks like a person I saw in a missing person flyer on Facebook. Do it. What if it's them? Don't worry about being wrong. Being wrong's okay. The faces change, especially if it's been years. We don't know what has happened. So please share the missing person flyers that we share. Get the word out there. We can, I feel, as a true crime community, it's not going to be me that solves anything. It's going to be you guys. You guys are the ones watching. You guys are the ones sharing the information. I am just here as a facilitator. I told somebody the other day, just consider me like the internet. All I'm here to do is to help give information to people so they can do something good with it. That's all I'm here for. I am not the solution to the problem. I'm just here trying to get the word out. So I want to tell all of you, thank you. Every time you share a missing person flyer that we post, every time that you watch this show, every time you take the time to think about these families and have compassion for them, you are doing amazing things. And because of that, we can help find some of these individuals. I can tell you we've gotten some great tips on Chase Lackey's case, and we're working on an update for Chase. And these small tips are putting together a puzzle that's amazing. Somebody out there has that one little piece that all of these families need to answer their question of where is my loved one. So please continue doing that. I'll get off my soapbox. I'm tired, a little emotional. I apologize for that. So I want to also say thank you to John Walsh. Thank you for taking your grief and pain and doing something good with it. Thank you for taking that and channeling it and not taking no for an answer and realizing that just getting the word out can help. And I want everyone to know his work reminds us that even if we face unimaginable loss, one person can make a profound difference in this world. Just one person. Okay, guys? So that's all I have today. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you all again. Remember, I will be back on Friday at noon to cover the case that I was not able to do on Monday. I want to apologize to viewers who are watching now or later and to the family for the case that I wasn't able to cover on Monday. I will get it covered on Friday, and I apologize. I truly feel like I let down the family and our community by missing Monday. It unfortunately happened and could not be missed. I had to handle the situation that came up. So, thank you again. Don't forget, you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, share it with your friends. Let's get the word out. The more people who know about these missing person cases, the more likely we are to get a tip or an answer to one of these cases. So don't forget, you can always find us here on our YouTube channel. Also, remember, going forward, some of our shows starting October 1st will only be on YouTube. They will not be streamed on Facebook. Dearest Mother's Darkest Secrets will only be on YouTube due to the dark content. It is some of those really hard true crime cases to cover. So it will only be on our YouTube channel. So until Friday, guys, I want to, as always, remind you to stay safe, watch out for crime, enjoy your wine time, but also share these missing person flyers, please, for me. And I will see you all on Friday. Bye, guys.